The world seems to be getting smaller every year. Traveling between continents has never been faster than it is today. Yet there's still one thing you can't do: drive all the way around the world. Sure, you could always fly, but imagine taking a road trip from Europe to North America, or from North America to Asia. Is it actually possible to build a global highway system that connects every continent on Earth? And even if we could, would it really be worth it? So before answering that question, let's take a look at how connected the world's road networks really are. At first glance, Earth has four major road systems. The largest is the Eurafrasian road network, stretching across Europe, Asia, and Africa. Since all three continents are connected by land, you'd naturally assume you could drive seamlessly between them. Well, not exactly. I tricked you a little. In reality, you can't drive directly from Africa into Asia without crossing the Suez Canal. This man-made waterway allows ships to travel between the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea without sailing all the way around Africa. The only physical connections across the canal are three bridges. Fortunately, because those bridges carry highways, the road network remains continuous, so Europe, Asia, and Africa are still considered part of one massive connected system. Speaking of enormous land masses, Australia, the world's sixth largest country and the smallest continent, has its own road network. And that's pretty much where its story ends. Travel a little farther east, however, and you'll reach another giant road system, the Americas. Just like Africa and Asia, North and South America are technically separated by a man-made canal, the Panama Canal. But unlike the Suez Canal, this isn't a real obstacle, because several bridges already cross it. The real problem lies just a little farther south, the Darién Gap. There isn't a single road crossing this vast stretch of jungle and swampland between Panama and Colombia. For decades, the region has been known for armed groups, drug trafficking, and extremely difficult terrain. Combined with the enormous construction costs and very little demand, building a highway here has never made economic sense. As a result, North America and South America remain completely disconnected by road. So today, our planet is divided into four separate highway systems, none of which connect directly to one another. But what if we change that? Imagine a global highway beginning in Cape Town, South Africa, and ending in Punta Arenas, Chile, the southernmost city on Earth with a population of more than 100,000 people. The first leg of the journey is surprisingly easy. The existing highways between Cape Town and Kinshasa are already in excellent condition, and driving the entire distance would take about 51 hours. But the first major obstacle appears as soon as you arrive in Kinshasa. Today, there is still no bridge spanning the Congo River between Kinshasa and Brazzaville. The only way across is by ferry. To make a global highway possible, we'd first need to build a brand new bridge here at an estimated cost of around $444 million. Assuming that bridge is completed, you could continue driving from Brazzaville all the way to Dakhla, Morocco, using existing highways. By that point, crossing the entire African continent would take roughly 7 days and 6 hours of continuous driving. Then comes one of the biggest engineering challenges of the entire project, the Mediterranean Sea. Fortunately, the Strait of Gibraltar is only about 14 kilometers wide at its narrowest point, but distance isn't the problem. The real challenge is the water below. Parts of the strait reach depths of nearly 900 meters, making any bridge an extraordinary engineering challenge. Even so, estimates suggest it could be built for roughly $24 billion. Let's assume that bridge is completed as well. Congratulations! You've just driven into the Spanish city of Algeciras. From here, an uninterrupted network of existing highways stretches across Europe and Asia, all the way to Magadan in Russia's Far East. That journey alone would take about 7 days and 11 hours of continuous driving. Combined with the drive from Cape Town, you'd now have spent nearly 14 days and 17 hours behind the wheel. And the best part? Almost anyone living in continental Europe or Asia could now join this global highway. Drivers from the United Kingdom could simply take their vehicles through the Channel Tunnel into France before continuing east across the continent. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for Australia, New Zealand, or Indonesia. With today's technology, connecting those countries by road is practically impossible. The nearest land is simply too far away, meaning any bridge would need to stretch well over 165 kilometers across open ocean, far beyond anything we've ever attempted. So if the rest of the project were completed, nearly everyone across Europe, Asia, and Africa could eventually drive all the way to Magadan. But getting from there to North America, that's where the real challenge begins. Take one look at a map of Russia's road network, and the problem becomes immediately obvious. This enormous region is almost completely empty. To reach the Bering Strait, more than 2,000 kilometers of brand new highways would need to be built across one of the coldest and most remote places on Earth, eventually connecting to the tiny village of Yulin at the very edge of Russia. From there, mainland Alaska is only about 82 kilometers away. Fortunately, we wouldn't actually need to build a single bridge that long. Right in the middle of the Bering Strait lie the Diomede Islands, allowing the crossing to be divided into 3 much shorter bridges instead of one massive span. Better yet, the water here is relatively shallow, only around 55 meters deep. Even so, constructing bridges in such an unforgiving Arctic environment would be an engineering nightmare. Ice movement, freezing temperatures, and violent storms could push the total cost to around $105 billion. But crossing the Bering Strait is only half the battle. The nearest Alaskan settlement sits roughly 160 kilometers from the proposed bridge landing site, meaning an entirely new highway would have to be built just to reach it. And even then, that settlement still isn't connected to Alaska's main road network. So thousands of additional kilometers of highways would have to be constructed before finally reaching Fairbanks. Only then could you join North America's existing highway system and continue driving south. From Fairbanks, you could drive uninterrupted for about 129 hours all the way to Yavisa, Panama, the southernmost point of the Pan-American Highway. And then, you'd hit the Darién Gap once again. Today, the highway simply ends here. But if this region ever became safe enough for construction and a highway was finally built across the jungle, you could continue driving into South America without ever leaving your car. From there, existing highways would carry you through Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Chile, and finally to Punta Arenas, the southernmost city in the world with more than 100,000 residents. So let's put everything together. To create a truly global highway system, only a handful of enormous construction projects would actually be required. A bridge across the Congo River, a bridge over the Strait of Gibraltar, thousands of kilometers of new highways across northeastern Russia and Alaska, 3 Arctic bridges across the Bering Strait, and finally a highway through the Darién Gap. Complete all of those projects, and for the first time in history, it would be possible to drive almost continuously across 3 continents and from one end of the world to the other. The longest possible journey would stretch from Cape Town, South Africa, to Punta Arenas, Chile, a distance of more than 52,000 kilometers. Driving non-stop, the trip would take over 28 days, or roughly 675 hours behind the wheel. Surprisingly, the entire project is estimated to cost at least $233 billion. That may sound like an unimaginable amount of money, but it's actually only a little over 1% of the United States annual GDP, or roughly 38% of the US military budget for a single year. At first glance, that almost makes the project sound affordable. But then reality sets in. Instead of spending nearly a month driving more than 52,000 kilometers, you could simply board a plane from Cape Town to Punta Arenas for around $2,000 and arrive in about 27 hours. The airplane is dramatically faster, far more practical, and vastly cheaper for almost everyone, which raises an interesting question. Just because humanity can build something, does that mean we actually should? Perhaps that's why a global highway remains exactly what it has always been. An extraordinary idea that's far more fascinating to imagine than it is to build.